What's up, you guys? It's Greg. Today we have a long-awaited announcement. If you're new to the channel, I'm Greg. I'm a business owner, real estate investor, entrepreneur. In between June and November now of 2020, we've placed 6 offers on potential real estate or flip properties, and we've been outbid on all of them. But finally, I'm happy to announce that house number 3 and rental number 1 is under contract and inbound for December 2020. So yes, as you can see on the screen, this is the house. I'm actually gonna go through and run through all the pictures and show you kind of the condition of the house currently where it is, and then kind of show you how I was able to kind of price it out in terms of comps and things like that. And I'm also gonna run through my entire preliminary budget when it comes to rehab. Now keep in mind, the things I'm gonna be showing you are just, either my cost or just materials or whatever it may be, but this is kind of the process of when you're going to get a fixer, is to figure out, kind of, or at least have a general idea of what the after repair value is, what it's going to cost you to actually fix it, and kind of a time frame and things like that. So I think that with my preliminary budget, it'll be a good resource for you to kind of use and refine your own budget when you're going and creating these template budgets for when you're looking at houses. So now we're going to jump right into it. Okay, so this is the front of the house. There really isn't a whole lot going on. The siding here is metal, and it's actually in great condition. As you can see right here on the windows, it does need some repainting. But honestly, when we get it, it'll probably be a little late in December, so it'll probably have to wait until the second tenant gets put in, at some point in the summer. But maybe I'll scrape it, maybe I'll paint it if the weather's nice. But if not, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I don't know if we're going to do anything with this. These doors on the inside, there's this door and then there's another door just past the hallway. They're really, really nice doors. So I'm actually really happy that we're able to save those. And then a lot of the damage on the inside is actually going to be caused by water. You can see here they try to patch the roof, and it's really, you can see the outside when you're inside, so that's not good. So this is like a little porch entryway, and it's actually all rotted out. Also the top, the ceiling, as well as the floor in there. But honestly, other than that, the house is in fairly decent condition, but you're going to see that as things go on. And then over here, you can see, I don't know if there's a better picture of that. Here it is. So then just to reiterate, the front of the house is on this street over here. So the front of the house is over here. This is the side view we just saw. And this is like a little walkout over the garage. Honestly, I actually didn't go out this door. I kind of forgot it was there. But I don't know. I don't really have a plan for it right now. We'll see what ends up happening with that. Both the garage doors do work, which is really nice. And then again, the siding is metal. It's not the prettiest thing. I'm not a huge fan of the white color, but it's in super good condition. So that's really all you can ask for, with the property in this condition. So this is just inside that side door where the roof was leaking. This room's actually okay. There's some settling. It doesn't appear to be water damaged. You can see they try to patch here, 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 and then there's a couple spots up to the right where this picture isn't showing. It mainly appears to be settling, which is good. The inside's, I think it's like a lath and plaster. It's very like a Spanish style home, which I thought was interesting. Obviously this is going to go. The floors, except for maybe right here and right here, which I can't remember if this is dusty or this is bad. The floors were actually in really good condition. And this is just another view. As you can see, there's just got the more cracking, more settling. I'm actually going to go back one picture. Just to the left here, up out of sight, there the ceiling's starting to fall down. It has some clear water damage, which would have been right north or right above where that hole in the ceiling was over the exterior porch there. There you can see right here, this is where the issues are coming in. There's some water damage in the ceiling, as well as this arch here. It does have a fireplace, as well as there directly underneath in the basement, there's another open fireplace there. But overall, as you can see, it's in pretty decent condition. Like, honestly, when you walk in, you're probably like, ugh. But all that means is that I'm going to end up getting a good deal. These blinds are going to go, this is going to go. I'm not sure what I'll do with the fireplace. I don't know if I'm going to cover it. I don't know if I'm going to close it up because I don't particularly want a tenant using it, or maybe I'll paint it and leave it. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. This is just like the dining room. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I might take it out. I might paint it. I don't know. This is the kitchen. Actually, these cabinets are in really good condition. Probably with this, we're just going to replace the appliances, put a new floor in, and then put a new countertop. Actually, this is probably a good time to throw up the repair budget. So as you can see, I didn't plan to put in new kitchen cabinets, so I actually didn't add a category for that. I originally had a category before we were going to see the house, because I always plan for new cabinets as a kind of just in case, because it usually does end up being a fairly decent size expense. So as you can see, it's just, I've priced in for the kitchen, driveway, or excuse me, a backsplash for $70 and then a countertop for $700, and both those are pretty high. It won't cost $50 for me to just go ahead and tile this. I'll probably just use a Subway tile from Home Depot. And then this is not $700 worth of concrete countertop. If I was to go ahead and do a granite or a sparkly quartz, I think quartz is like $70 a square foot, and granite, a mid-grade granite is probably $45 a square foot unless you get it from a granite yard. So I feel like $700 for a countertop is actually pretty low. And then here's just the other view where the stove is. So it'll just be this for countertops. This is not that expensive of a countertop. It might be $350 for a concrete countertop, and it'll take me an afternoon to go ahead and pour that. If you've watched this far, I'd love it if you go ahead and just hit the subscribe button. Also, if you go ahead and click the little notification bell, you'll be notified every time I come with a new update. Also, while we're on this topic, if you want to go ahead and check out one of my renovation videos on what it actually costs you to go ahead and redo a kitchen or a bathroom, I'll go ahead and link those above. It's in one of these two corners. But anyway, let's get back to the video. So just to recap for the kitchen, we have a backsplash, which I may or may not do, just depending on what we do. I'm actually going to go ahead and paint the cabinets. I'm going to pull off some of this weird hardware. We'll probably either do the cabinets white because the concrete countertop will be gray, or we might do an edgecomb gray on the countertops, or on the cabinets, and then maybe have the concrete countertop. And then I plan for $1,500 in appliances. Honestly, by the time I'm getting around to buying appliances, it'll be January, and most everybody, or at least the big box retailers, have appliances on sale in January, so I'm hoping to get a good deal on those. And I did, like I said before, I did plan to do flooring in the kitchen as well as in the hallway here. And then I'll probably leave this floor. This is the bathroom that you can see through here. It's a lot nicer than it looks in this picture here. And then this wall to the left in the kitchen here is actually the shared wall with the dining room right here. So if I was a flipper, I definitely would go ahead and take that out. It doesn't appear to be a load-bearing wall, but it's definitely something I'm going to look into. The only issue I could see running into is that the floor won't be continuous underneath that wall. So right now it's up in the air if that wall is going to stay or if I'm going to take that out. But we'll see as I get into it. Here's the bathroom. It's actually a lot grosser inside than it appears to be, but I'm actually going to try to save the bathroom. This actually is not grout. As you get closer, you actually see that all this white here was silicone. I don't know why they were trying to use silicone to basically re-grout this tile, but if I can get something that can kind of melt away the silicone or just use some type of scraper and then go ahead and re-glaze this entire wall, because this wall carries into the shower, which is just to the right here, which we don't have a picture of, but it's pretty gross. The tub's gross, shower's gross, but honestly, just re-glazing the tile will save a ton of money as well as a ton of time, because I've taken out tile on these walls like this before, from these houses built, 20s, 30s, 40s, and it is a huge pain in the butt. Not only is it a lot of time, it's a lot of labor, it's a lot of tile and a lot of cement to carry, and then you have to drywall, and then I've got to pay to put a new shower in, and either I have to put the shower in or I have to pay a plumber or somebody to put the shower in. So either it's a big expense or a big time commitment, as opposed to just maybe throwing some reglaze on there, painting this, and then throwing a new vanity on the top, and a new toilet, and then calling it a day. And then again with the walls, we're probably going to do the same edgecomb gray that we'll do in the rest of the house, with a Swiss coffee trim. Honestly, the bedrooms are okay. Ceilings will probably get scraped. New light fixture. The floors in here are really good. They've had all the rugs down. And I'm really impressed with the hardwood floor. This is actually a door that leads out. The leaky porch is just out to the left here, and then the garage is to the right. So this is in the back of the house on the first floor. And then this is another first floor bedroom. This wood paneling they put up is actually in really good condition and is actually really thick. It's not like a cheapy, really thin wood paneling. So I'm actually probably just going to paint it gray and leave it, because that's a lot of drywall work. Just pay somebody to put it in, that's an expense I don't really want to have to pay for. And for me to do it myself, I'm really not the greatest at finishing drywall. My wife has always done the drywall, but she won't be joining me in this project. So it's not really something I want to tackle. So I'm probably just going to paint it and just see how it looks. Because I've talked about this before, but I do have a Graco X7 paint sprayer that I enjoy very much. So that'll actually probably be a fun day of painting. Now, if I had to hand paint all this, it'd be a totally different story. because hand painting is absolutely terrible. And this is a view from the upstairs. This is where the leaky porch is. As you can see, they try to put this, and I keep bringing up the leaky porch just so you can orient yourself in the house as to where it is. Yeah, this is just overlooking the living room space or whatever. This is like a loft area. It's really in okay condition. There's some cracking here. I don't know if it's from settling. This is definitely lath and plaster over here. This is not drywall. So I might just try to patch this and then just, do a good job patching it and then just paint over it. New light fixture. I don't know about this curtain rod. I'll probably just take it down and then leave it open, because if you're going to have an open loft space, you might as well embrace the open loft space. I'm not going to attempt to make this into a bedroom. It actually has a ton of storage here in the crawl space over to the right here, as well as this ceiling is starting to fall in. So that means it's just getting some water damage. So I'm probably going to pull that down and evaluate. And if I need to replace things or, mold remediation or anything like that, I'll deal with that and then go and put a new light fixture in and then new flooring. I haven't decided if I'm going to do carpet or a luxury vinyl plank. It would be nice to kind of have a carpeted section. I personally like carpet. I know it does give that lower end feel, but me living in a house, I like to have carpet. And plus, it's cheaper for me, so we'll see. I haven't decided yet. I've priced in. I actually overestimated my floor costs, so I should be able to get a luxury vinyl plank that's running right now about $280, $290 a square foot for like a life-proof, waterproof one, as opposed to carpet that I probably could get for $160 a square foot installed. And this is just another view from the master. Here's what I'm telling you, the ceiling starting to cave in a little bit, so that just needs to be addressed. And this is the closet in the master, and then this is a half bath. I'm just going to throw a new vanity in there, a new toilet. This bathroom actually isn't that terrible, as you can see. New floor, new toilet, new vanity. It'll look just fine. Just throw some fresh paint on it, put a blind maybe, and not this weird curtain, or actually just go ahead and frost the window. New light fixture, I don't know, maybe just a $20 light fixture or something like that. And then this is just the basement view. The basement's actually probably the driest space I've ever been in, especially considering that the fact that this wall here, as well as right about here, there's gutters on the outside that's just dumping right into the basement. Or it's not dumping into the basement, but it's basically just pushing the water off the roof straight down. So this basement is actually in really, really good condition, as well as the plumbing was in good condition. All copper plumbing was really good. The water heater is a little old, but if it's still functional, it'll stay. Same with the furnace, still a little old, but if everything works out, then it's fine. I'm actually, with this house, a part of the contract was that they can leave it in the condition that it's in, because it is an estate sale, so the seller didn't want to have to go ahead and take all that stuff out, so I agreed to that. It's only going to cost me a dumpster, a little bit of labor. So I'm just going to go ahead and run through the repair budget real quick, because I kind of had it up periodically, but I didn't really touch on anything because I was kind of looking at the pictures and just talking. So again, here we have kitchen cabinets. I'm going to save those, so I'm not going to do those. Exterior paint, I'm not going to paint the metal siding, so that's why it's so low. And that's actually a highball number, because I'm just doing, the block, or the I'm blanking on what these are called, but you know what these are called, as well as the trim around the window. Shutter, the shutters. And then interior paint I had for $800, just because that is a lot of area of paint, and that's probably a more accurate number, about $200 every 5 gallons. It might be a little bit high, and considering that I don't really need any supplies, because I have a lot of it in the shed anyway. I originally had planned for a furnace, but it seems to be in fine working order, so I'm going to leave that. Flooring, I have at $3,000. That's probably pretty accurate. That's definitely not a high ball. My number might even be just a little bit too low. And then a countertop, I budgeted for $700, but again, that's way over. That number will probably be cut in half. And then appliances, I budgeted for $1,500, but there's no dishwasher in this current kitchen, and I had planned for that. So, and since we're not doing new cabinets, I'm not going to go ahead and throw in a dishwasher, because I'd have to rip out cabinets. It's going to become this whole process. So I'm basically just going to be paying for a stove and a fridge, so that I actually cut the number down. That'll actually probably only be, $1,100 as opposed to $1,500. Driveway repair, the driveway's in fine condition. Backsplash, like I said, I may do, I may not do, but regardless, it's probably not going to be $70. It'll probably be closer to $50. Ceiling fans, I'm I always budget like I'm gonna put ceiling fans in, but honestly, I don't really ever put ceiling fans in, mainly because they're like a really, really annoying thing to install. So I always have this category in my budget, but I never actually end up putting them in. So we'll see if they actually go in. I do like to spend a little bit more on a ceiling fan because I feel like that's more of an accent piece and like a statement piece. So I don't like to go cheap on ceiling fans. Those $70, $80, $110 ones just aren't that great. Typically, like a good modern Kohler, just like a really, really nice ceiling fan. And then blinds, I have at 200. That might be a little low. Blinds might be a little bit more like, 230, 240, especially for some of those bigger windows, because the typical blind's $12 for a normal size window. Then you get some of the bigger ones and get pretty expensive. I have drywall repairing here at $1,000. I've actually never hired anybody to do any drywall, so I don't know if this number is accurate or not. This is more of just a guesstimate, but I may or may not hire somebody to do the drywall. I'm going to go back to that picture real quick. This is really what I'm concerned about, is this ceiling here. So I don't know what all that's going to entail, because like I said, I'm not that great at finishing drywall, as well as this putting it up on the ceiling is going to be a huge pain in the butt. So we'll see there. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I know sheets of drywall are like $10, $11 for a 4x8 sheet, and then drywall muds, $15 or $20 or whatever it is for a 5-gallon pail. So in terms of material, it's super, super cheap. In terms of labor, I'm not 100% accurate, but I'm actually going to ask my realtor. We have a really, really good realtor, so I'm going to ask him what his recommendation would be. And then it comes to vanities. I budgeted for $700 because you can see there's two. There's the one in the upstairs bathroom and the downstairs bathroom. Vanities, it's hard. It's hard because I've bought some of the lower end MDF ones, and they look really, really nice, like the ones that are sitting on the front of the Home Depot. Like they like to show off, but they don't last. They start to rub off. So I like to budget a little bit high for vanities. So at $350 a piece. This one, actually, if I can save the wall here, I'll actually just save this one, paint, and just put a new sink top on it. So then the upstairs is the only one I'd actually have to pay for. And then toilets, they'll get 2 new toilets at $200 a pop, because that's not really that big of a deal. And let's be honest, this toilet and the other toilet look pretty gross, so I'd rather not get down there and clean them. And then at shower, I have $1,400 because this house only actually has one shower. The upstairs has a master, like I said, but it's only a half bath. Eventually, if I was to go ahead and flip it, or eventually when I sell it, it will, I may add in another bathroom, or I may add in another shower, but that's just dependent. That's way down the road. For a rental, that's total overkill. I'm trying to go ahead and get this, get it fixed, and get it rented as quick as possible. So this is fine for right now. Just to buy a fiberglass tub as well as a shower surround is about $800. If I go ahead and install it myself, it'll probably need some new hardware. That's $900. So I budgeted a little bit more just in case I had somebody go ahead and do that for me, just to save me some time. But like I said, I'm going to try to save this bathroom first, and if it can't be saved, then that's the next option. So hopefully that category will just go away, and then it'll just be replaced with, $100 worth of tile glaze. Door handles and locks, budgeted in at $400. Always got to replace the locks on the outside. Depending on the inside, if you can save some of the door handles and things, it mainly just comes down to colors, really what it comes down to. And then I do budget in for some electrical issues. I like to have my electrician come out and actually install the receptacles and the switches and things like that. I have done them in the past. It just takes me a long time, and he is so efficient that it's worth the $45 an hour just to have him come out and do it. Because in the current house that we had, he figured out why 9/10 of the house didn't have electrical in 2 hours, and then it took him another hour to fix it. So it's like he's really good at what he does, and so I don't mind throwing a little bit of money that way just to go ahead and take something off my plate, considering that I'm doing a lot of everything else myself to save money. So I'm spending money where it counts in time savings. And then I budgeted in another $800 for miscellaneous plumbing, just for like parts and stuff. I probably won't have a plumber come in because I actually can do most of it myself. But just if I need anything, I like to have it there and just have budgeted for it. And then here for the roof, I have $10,000 budgeted because, like I said, and you can see, this roof is leaking and it needs a new roof. And it's decently steep. It's not excessive. Let me see if I can get back to the roof picture here. So there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of valleys, a lot of highs, a dormer here. There's not a dormer on the other side, but there's just a lot going on. This is not something I do myself, and this is something that'll probably take a crew, especially in the winter, 2 days to do, maybe 3. I don't know. So I went ahead and budgeted $10,000 for that because it's not a plywood underneath. It's actually like a cedar shake. So I don't know if they're going to be able to save that or if they need to replace that with plywood. So we'll find out when that comes to it. But I wanted to make sure to at least have enough money budgeted for that. And then I have a miscellaneous category here in the budget. You could add that, that category could be like your hard money loan fees, or, if you I just want to throw in an extra $1,000 just in case for something like, I need a mailbox, or like whatever it would be. And then I'm gonna have $600 in light fixtures. That's typically just gonna be like boob lights, a lot of boob lights. Honestly, those ones from Home Depot that are like $18 a piece. Super easy to put up. They last forever. They look good. They're not accent pieces, but they get the job done and they look good. So that's really what matters. So I'm saving money where it counts, and then putting money in things that wind up making me money. So that brings our total rehab to $22,870. So now this is probably one of the most important parts of the video, is figuring out the after repair value of a property, so that way that when you go ahead and put an offer in, you can actually make money on that property, because there's no point in buying a property and putting in all this money if you're not going to actually make money off of it. So I'm estimating the after repair value of this one at 160. There's one a couple blocks down the street that went pending at 160. It's a little bit smaller than this house. There's one block away that actually sold for 170. Another one sold for 160. So this house has some good potential. And keep in mind, these numbers were to be if I was to go ahead and just purchase it and flip it within 2 or 3 months. This doesn't include the fact that over time it will naturally appreciate, because this is a big lot. This is almost a 11,000 square foot lot. I think it's like 10,600 or something. And that's a pretty big lot considering it's a corner lot in a city. So our offer got accepted at $98,500. And with the $20,870 in rehab, that means that we will make $38,630 by purchasing this home. And that's the spend that I like to be in. I like to spend $1 and make $2 back. I would prefer to spend $1 and make $3 or $4 back, but the perfect deal doesn't happen every single time. So what that means is that extra $38,000 will be our new equity after the property is basically renovated. So with this property, we're using the BRRRR method of investing, the buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. So we're buying it for $98,000, putting $22,000 in, we'll rent it, then we'll go to the bank and refinance our mortgage, basically pulling out all the new equity, and then they'll use the spread of the natural appreciation that we gained from fixing up the property as our new down payment. So I'm going to say that again and try to do a little bit better job explaining it. I know that's a super complex topic, so just bear with me as I try to explain it. So basically, we're going to pay $98,000, then we're going to have our rehab. And then we go to the bank and we're like, hey, we want to do a cash out refinance. And what that means is that the bank will actually give you a loan on the property and then give you money. So basically, they're putting a lien on the property and giving you cash in return. And you know how normally when you go ahead and purchase a house, you put down money as a down payment. And that puts a little bit of your skin in the game so the bank feels a little bit better. Well, with this method, we're actually using that $38,000 of gain that we got from fixing up the property to use as our quote unquote down payment. So basically what that means is that the purchase price plus the rehab, we can be like, hey, we want to refinance for that amount. And the bank's gonna be like, okay, you did all this and now the house is appraised at this value. So we're gonna keep this $38,000 as your quote unquote down payment. I'm just gonna give you cash for the rest. So what that means is that we will have purchased this property, spent the money for the rehab, and then gotten to control the asset for free. So yes, that does mean that we will be getting that $122,000 back from the bank, and that we will be having a loan on that. But we're gonna put a tenant in the property, which means that the tenant is paying down the loan from the bank, and the bank has given us cash in order to go ahead and purchase more property. And understanding this principle is very important because this is the difference between good debt versus bad debt. This is an example of good debt. Credit cards is an example of bad debt. And also, this is leverage. Because we're taking an asset, which was bought with good debt, and leveraging it for cash in order to go buy more property. All while the tax code is giving us benefits as well as the tenant is paying down the mortgage. And now I think is a good time to go ahead and take a look at the rental estimate. So with this property, I'm estimating that we will make at least $1,600 a month in rent. And I know it sounds like a lot of money for rent, and it sounds like a lot to me as well. But with the taxes being so high in New York, so is rent, because this property has almost $5,000 a year just in taxes. So I think being fixed up, this property probably will rent for at least $1,700, maybe $1,750. I know that our realtor said that he rented one just down the block like a week before he ended up putting the offer on this house for $1,600, but it was not rehabbed. And also it didn't have a garage. So that's something to take into consideration. So these are my numbers. We're just gonna go ahead and run with a $1,600 a month example. The payment estimate would be $539, $120,000 refinance, basically with 0% down. For the figure, that's basically the $38,000. That's how you can think of that as our zero down. At a 3.5% interest rate. In taxes every month, we have $413. I estimated for $83 in insurance. This, however, does not need flood insurance. I don't know why this says. I'm actually going to change that so you won't see that. Should say flood, which it does now, as opposed to floor, what it did. For a manager for this property, we figured at 10%. And then reserves are just, maintenance items, overages, holding, things like that. I go ahead and just put a standard $200 in there. So basically that just goes into a fund and the tenant's actually paying for that. So that's actually cash, it just doesn't come into my pocket. But then when something goes wrong, or if there's vacancies or there's some issue, I'm not having to come up with cash for that. The tenant has already put that into a fund and the house basically is paying for itself at this point. So at $1,600 a month, we're actually making $205 in our pocket every single month. And that's cash that we can just go ahead and spend, not including the $38,000 that we have gained from fixing up the house to its new appraised state. So then down at the bottom here, I'm sure you've noticed the net worth gain. So what that means is that this is basically just an estimated calculator of the principal pay down, so the tenant's paying down the principal and the interest. So what that means is that when the principal gets paid down, but the principal is just the loan balance, is that I'm making basically the principal towards my net worth. It's not actual cash in my pocket, but as long as they're paying down the principal, that's actually going towards that, paying down the equity of the house, which means that my net worth is going up. So by owning this, we will make right around $539 every single month just by owning the property. Again, that doesn't include the $38,000 from the new appraised value. Hopefully I didn't end up talking too much, but let's be honest, that's what I'm trying to focus on this channel, is transparency and showing the numbers and showing you that normal people can go ahead and do this, and this is kind of the process of how it works. If you like this style of content, go ahead and comment that down below. But anyway, I'll catch you next video.